Hi, I'm Brian with Excel Ministries, and we're here to just talk a little bit about who we are as a ministry and why we do what we do. And we're here with Dusty. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and about your family.
I'd be happy to. Very thankful to be here. I love Excel and excited to talk about Excel. But I'm Dusty Burris. I'm the pastor of Northlake Bible Church in Northlake, Texas. And my wife, Rebecca, and I have been married for 16 years. We've got 2 kids, Avery and Luke. Avery's 11, Luke is 9. And we served at Countryside Bible Church. I was on staff there for about 10 years. We are their first church plant. So we started in 2019. We meet in a school every Sunday in the Northlake area, and it's been a real blessing.
Well, you have a unique situation in that you weren't an actual Excel intern, but you hung around a bunch of them, and you got to hang around Rocky for 10 years. And tell me about your experience and what was that like hanging around these guys and watching their experience of being an intern?
I grew up as a PK. My dad was a pastor, and so I've been in the local church my whole life, but had never seen training like this. I'd always desired to be trained at a deeper level. Oftentimes in the church culture I grew up in, it was more like if a guy raised his hand and said, "Hey, I want to preach," it's like, "What are you doing next Sunday?" I was benefited from some very godly men in those churches, but always longed for really intentional training. That's why I went to seminary, was hoping to get that. So fast forward then, in God's providence, in 2010, I graduated seminary, was brought on staff at Countryside. And of course, the men here, many of them that were on staff, either went through Excel or were working with Excel. Rocky, of course, is the founder of Excel. When the time came that they felt comfortable to then bring interns under my leadership, I jumped at the chance to impart to them the things that had been entrusted to me.
And that's really foundational to Excel is faithful men, training faithful men and entrusting to other faithful men. And so now, how has your experience hanging around Rocky and the Excel interns now help you as a church planner, and now you're training other Excel interns?
It's helped tremendously because, one, it just helped cement the reality of 2 Timothy 2:2 that this is not optional. The things that have been entrusted to you, you're to be entrusting to other men. So it was just such a blessing to be able to start from the beginning with 2 men to say, "Hey, you know what? Come alongside. Let me pour into you. Let's get to know you." Okay, we don't just immediately start the internship. And so we do a lot of discipleship even leading up to the internship. But once their giftedness is affirmed and their character is affirmed, then for both of these men, we said, okay, let's go ahead and start this officially. And for really the entirety of our church life so far, we have had interns, and that's proven to be beneficial, obviously to them, but to our church and to me. Because as they grow and learn, they're able to take more and more off my plate, and our people are benefiting from that, and they're seeing them grow, their teaching's growing, their shepherding's growing. And so, in a church plant setting, I think a lot of people may be intimidated to take on an intern in that environment because there's so much to do. You don't even know the answers to a lot of questions. But I saw that as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm learning on the fly on some of these things as far as how do you find a building and where are we going to meet and where do we buy chairs and all those kind of things. Might as well bring them along and let them learn that as well. Yeah. And what it does is it produces a culture within the church where people take their own discipleship seriously. They start to see, okay, what is it y'all are doing? And wow, they look at the materials and whether they want to pursue eldership or being a deacon or maybe just a lady wanting to be a godly wife and saying, you know what, I'd like to just grow in my Bible knowledge. Can I learn some of those things? And there's this is just things Christians can know to be equipped to whatever level of giftedness a person has.
It's so encouraging. Lastly, Dusty, just how might you encourage someone who's thinking about being an Excel intern or giving to Excel? I mean, what is again, talk about some of those quick benefits.
At the end of the book of Titus, he's telling Titus, I want you to come, I'm going to send someone to you, and I want you to come back to me, and to be sure to greet these other people that I'm sending. I mean, there's this network of men that he's training, he's putting them in ministry, then they're coming back for more training, and then they're going out. This is the biblical pattern for men to be trained within the local church. And so I would just say, if you're considering seminary, if you're considering being in ministry, I think seminary is a great tool, but do it in partnership with a local church You get not only the tools, but the practical knowledge where when you get done, you feel equipped. I mean, obviously we're always learning, but you feel like, I could handle a counseling situation. I could do a wedding. I could do a funeral. I can prepare a weekly message and believe that it's faithful to the text. And so I just can't express the importance. And the last thing I'll say is some men will see seminary as really, that's all that I need. I'm just going to go do that. And I would say if you want to be a professor, then that's absolutely true. If you want to be a pastor, then you need to at least add to that being under pastors who are doing this and shepherding people, and they're in the lives of the people, and they'll give you an opportunity to do that as well. And if you're a pastor thinking about wanting to train men more efficiently, more biblically, I can't express how helpful Excel is in that, because we're busy, there's a lot going on, and a lot of men are intimidated by saying, how am I going to take on pouring into another young man with all of the other responsibilities that God's given me to do? Excel provides you with a helpful grid with good, solid materials to help you make sure that man is being adequately equipped, but you're not reinventing the wheel. It's also saving you the mental time of trying to just create what's this going to look like and how's it going to go.
Well, you should know. You've been in the associate role. Now you're a church planter and training interns, and you see the benefit. And on behalf of the church, thank you, Dusty, for what you're doing to help build Christ Church. And it's a privilege to work alongside you in doing that. And thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. It's
You're
good
welcome.
to be here.
Thank you.